Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Howdy y'all, Red Laughlin here. This is The Wise Ones, and today my guest is Shruti Trivedi, and we'll be with her just momentarily. My primary job when I'm not doing TV shows, and I do 3 of them every Thursday back to back to back, is I'm a researcher. I research the human body at the cellular level, chemically speaking. I look for cause and effect relationships. Treat a cause, fix a problem. Treat symptoms, and you'll always be treating symptoms. My specialty is longevity and age-related issues. I have a book coming out called Aging Sucks. It'll be out here literally. It's got published date is July 4th. And I'm looking at what are the actual causes of aging at the molecular level in the body. What can we do about it? A lot of things that are out there. And that's the primary purpose of that book. And we'll be talking about it off and on here in the future shows, primarily on Talking Heads, which is my next show coming up. And my topic today is how do you stay visible, relevant, and credible? And that's going to be the next topic in about an hour. So Trudy, please join me up here on stage. Howdy.
Hello, Red. So nice to speak with you.
Let me turn my volume up just a little bit here. Okay. You are a transformation coach. Why don't we start out with tell us about your journey, how you actually got to that level.
Absolutely. So I can definitely talk through why I'm a coach today. Prior to coaching, I was in IT, working full-time in IT operations. And why coaching, right? So it's my own personal journey. I am blessed with 3 beautiful children. However, I've also lost 3 babies. And it's just that chapter of my life that has been the toughest for me. It took me more than 11 years to even seek help and say yes to therapy. And this was just a few years back in 2022, when I said yes to therapy, and it transformed my life. And I realized how unspoken pregnancy loss is about. And I'm on a life mission now to normalize this conversation, because there's so much stigma around mental health in general, and when it comes to pregnancy loss, even more, to not talk about it. So a little more about my losses. After my first daughter was born, she was about 2 years old. This is way back in 2011. I was expecting a baby, and motherhood is something I've always embraced, and I've loved being a mother. So I was very excited, a bit nervous too. But at about 9 weeks, it was December 31st, 2011. We were actually going to announce that we are pregnant. That morning, I had an ultrasound appointment where they could not find a heartbeat. And the doctor mentioned that heartbeats are usually found at around 6 to 7 weeks. And if it's not found at 9 weeks, that means the baby is no more. I was given a pill to send back home and terminate that pregnancy. And
I'm so sorry to hear that.
For me to go through that.
Yeah, that's something I'm not familiar with. I know it's happened in other families within my families, but that's not something I've had firsthand experience with. I really offer you my condolences on that.
Thank you so much. Yep, it's a feeling for me, something that I never got to hold in my hand, and I didn't know how to even grieve about it. And
Okay. And I think what you just hit on that last sentence, you didn't even know how to grieve. And that's when you don't know what you don't know, but you feel something that you need to know, and you don't know where to start. So that journey of not knowing anything, but just having this, let's just call it emotional concern. I'm just going to call it that for lack of anything else. Something happened, and now it's in your brain. You're in your brain the whole time. Uh, how did you work your way through that, or what happened? How did you start grieving? Did you go to church, or tell us about that?
I ignored it, escaped and ignored it. And that's what the society told me to do, right? I was about 27 years old. Yeah, I was 27 at that time. So yeah, I was told to completely like move on from it. And that's what I thought I was supposed to do.
Okay, so just you flip a light switch off and you ignore it. It sounds easy, but was it really that easy?
Not at all.
Okay.
I I was breaking inside, and I I didn't know what to do. So my easiest option at that time was I was a homemaker at that time. I was not working, taking care of my daughter. So I just decided to work and keep myself busy, is what I called myself at that time. Like, okay, I should not have any time to think. So I decided to just, work and keep busy and take care of my child. um, I was fortunate to get pregnant again and have my middle daughter. I remember that pregnancy was tough though, because for me, having a heartbeat was a milestone at that time with my middle daughter. I remember breaking down in the doctor's office when I heard her heartbeat. Um, and again, blessed to have her in my life. A few years later, back in 2017, I was expecting identical twin boys. And there's a funny story that identical twins run in my father's side of my family. So
Wow.
everybody was very excited that I'm continuing that tradition in my generation. My grandfather was a twin. My Many of my father's cousins and their children are identical twins. So I felt very blessed that I would be able to do that for my family. Um, and this was their pregnancy was a roller coaster. They were having some complications, but every appointment we would overcome that complication. At about 18 weeks, they were diagnosed with TTTS, which is twin to twin transfusion syndrome. um, and I was sent to the Johns Hopkins Hospital, which is the best hospital I could get at that time, where they performed a laser surgery on me, and the surgery was successful. However, at 19 weeks, my water broke, and I still managed to kind of drag through my pregnancy until 23 weeks. I was sent back home on bed rest, and uh, my I developed a fever at 23 weeks, and I delivered them,
Mm.
and for about 2 hours.
Again, my condolences. Uh,
Thank you so much.
and so now you had a grief that you never really survived to begin with. You had overwhelming joy of what was pending, and now a double grief on top of the single grief way back when. So um, you didn't ignore this one.
I did. I
You did.
joined. I joined back work in a week, um, because I just wanted to again, like everybody was saying, time will heal this. They were never meant to be. So you already have two daughters, um, so just move on. And I went back to work and just started working and trying to think that I have moved on and pretending that I will be okay.
Did you have any friends or family that could help you or did help you?
I have a wonderful family to talk to, and they were always supportive of me. Um, I think at that time I was just missing somebody pushing me maybe into some kind of a grief group or maybe therapy, because therapy had finally worked for me. But at that time I thought I have my support system around me, so I don't need anyone. And even like I know while discharging the hospital, I was given a big packet of grief support groups. Um, but I just threw it away because I thought I don't need all of that. Um, so I guess it's just again like you what the society tells you to do, you just start feeling that's the thing that you should be feeling, not what you're actually feeling.
Okay, so we have a certain inherent belief in society being right, and we have to accommodate to that whatever feeling or issue is at the time. Uh, so you went through all of this. You weren't predisposed to go to therapy. Something happened, and you opened that door to therapy. What caused that door to be opened?
So after this, I was fortunate again to conceive in 2018. I had my son, and then it was also nice of saying my two boys are back as one life. And again, I started believing in that very heavily. Um, a year later, 2019, 2020, amidst the pandemic, 2021, every year during the same dates, something would trigger, or randomly, like, I'm sitting in a conference room presenting metrics to management and I'm feeling uneasy, or tears rolling down when I'm just creating a report at work. And I felt that why is this happening? And those are the times you're the cruelest to yourself. Like I know how many bad words I have used on myself, like the cuss words, like what's wrong with you, Shruti? Why can't you be normal? What's going on? You have work to do. And I would just ignore completely. But then there was a time I had changed jobs at that time, and my company at that time offered complementary therapy sessions, 8 complementary therapy sessions. And I I just thought maybe let's try therapy. Like I went with that attitude really. I even calling that hotline, I know I hung up 3 times before I finally made that call. And then I said, okay, I'll just try. You know what? It's anyways free. If the therapist says like everything is fine, you just want to create problems, I'll just hang up and I'll never talk to a therapist again. On the contrary, the therapist was shocked to know that I had ignored my mental health for so long and never spoken about it.
Okay, so your company actually offered some free therapy. That's
That,
that's unusual for a company.
yeah,
At
yeah,
least,
my company didn't.
I'm trying to think of the companies I work for. I don't even think that was ever even mentioned. Maybe that's something that's more current in today's times, but it certainly wasn't, back when I was very active in the corporate world. So you had the opportunity through work. You were very tentative at the beginning, and then all of a sudden you connected with somebody that that was a match for you right that minute. You needed it.
That's right. It just felt that at that time I needed that validation. We all talk about like we don't need validation from others, right? But at that point in my life, I needed that from her. Like whatever you're feeling is normal. Whatever you're feeling is valid, and your feelings matter. Because at that time, there were times where I didn't even know why I was crying, and having these restless thoughts. And so that's where it all began, my own transformation, the new version of me. And throughout those sessions we did various types of assessments, exercises, and I used so many tools, like physical tools, to kind of write down some thoughts. And I was shocked, surprised to see what I had stored within me. Like I remember this one particular therapy session where I had taken a red marker in my hand and written down, I killed my babies. And that I couldn't believe myself that I wrote that, because I knew within me I did everything to protect them. And that was the journey. Finally, I wrote down in one session, I did everything to protect my babies. So, but your body stores all of that within you, and it becomes more and more toxic if you don't address it, if you don't allow yourself to feel those feelings. So that was my journey of transformation. And I started looking around and talking to people, and I realized how unspoken it is about. As per the statistics, 1 in 4 pregnancies actually experience in a pregnancy loss. Still, it's unspoken about. This is how common it is, but it's still no, people don't talk about it because it's a taboo, or we don't talk about pregnancy loss. And I was just hearing those things around, and that's where it turned into a life mission for me that I'm going to normalize this conversation.
Okay, so if there's a woman out there that's had a loss, and they're trying to let it go, whatever way, shape, or form, adapting cultural norms, for lack of a better description, then, and all of a sudden, this emotion erupts and brings tears occasionally. I mean, I think when my parents passed and my brothers and sisters passed, you're sitting at a traffic light
Mhm.
and everything's normal. And then 10 seconds later, you have tears running down your face. Uh, Maybe that's a clue that you need to talk to somebody. And I'm guessing that's kind of, you get this clue, not every day, maybe every day. Uh, but these clues pop up and they're there for a reason, because you do need something to get rid of those tears. And it's not that it's untreatable. We just don't know about it in many cases. And as you say, is it taboo? Are we embarrassed? I don't know. I don't know if it's cultural, to the United States, or would it be the same thing in Asian culture over, seas, or Africa or Europe or some other place. I don't know. But here in the United States, that's a very definite clue that if that's the environment that you're exposed to, then maybe you need to talk to somebody like Shruti, because you, as you say, you dialed it 3 times and hung up. Okay, uh, at some point in time, okay, let me just kind of hear what they have to say, and I can always hang up. So let's say that somebody's calling you for the first time. Uh, how do you establish rapport?
Mainly, it's listening. Like I call it also a venting out call. Like the first call is just vent out and just try to see where you are. So I create this non-judgmental safe space. Like this information stays here in this call, and it's not going anywhere else. So if you have feelings, and that's where you start uncovering a lot in the first call itself, like that is how much you're storing. And then from there, you you decide you want to take the next steps. There are times where you just feel like remaining quiet, and even a quiet space matters. So I would say sometimes it's like I'll have somebody just staying quiet with me for 10-15 minutes, and that's okay. I'm here. I'm staying here as long as you want to stay quiet. If you want to write down something, that's fine. So I think it's just that that space. I'm trying to create that space for women, which I don't see exists yet.
Okay, so for a man, this is not the same thing, but for a soldier that has PTSD, that's probably as close as it would come. Do you think?
Absolutely, and I would also say that I think for a man, it we kind of ignore the father or the man, because we just say it's the woman who is physically, yes, physically the woman is carrying, but the father has also lost a baby, and we often tend to ignore that. And because of, again, the society setting the rules for men, like men are strong, men don't cry, men cannot be vulnerable. And I know how much my husband was told to be strong for me, so that uh, because I'm vulnerable, he cannot be vulnerable. So I think it's a whole another story for men where they have to stay strong even if they want to be vulnerable.
Shruti, we're going to go to commercial break here in just literally 10 seconds or so. And I just want to give you a heads up on it. So we'll be back in about a minute, minute and a half at most.
Sounds good.
How much of your value have you been giving away? Saying yes when the answer should have been no? Lowering your price to secure the opportunity? Giving more while receiving less? Over time, it adds up. Until one moment brings clarity, you've been giving away your value. This is not about working harder. This is not about doing more. It's about boundaries. It's about pricing. It's about respect. From Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck comes a direct and necessary message. Stop over-delivering. Stop underpricing your expertise. Stop negotiating against yourself. Because when you recognize your value, everything changes. Stop giving away your value. Boundaries, pricing, and the business of respect. Available now wherever fine books are sold and on Amazon. A film by USA Global TV and Radio. Executive producer Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Videographer and cinematic production Paul Garcia. Voiceover by Ed Vargas. Stop giving it away. Start owning it.
Brett O'Loughlin here, one of the wise ones on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. And before I get back to our guests, I just want to remind you, if you're watching the show today on YouTube, please be a subscriber. We would really appreciate it. We have two channels on YouTube, one called USA Global TV and Radio Network, and the other one is Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Again, please consider being a subscriber. We really appreciate it. Shruti Trivedi is my guest today. And she is a transformational coach primarily for women who have suffered a loss of a baby. And so, Trudy, please join me back up here on stage. We were just ending the last segment there where we were getting men involved. Just because the husband's there, he didn't have the physical trauma, the emotional trauma, and the mental effects of it. But they still share in it because they love you and they're married to you and it's part of the family. And so, is that part of your coaching too with the male in the family, or is just females only?
I am working to expand that right now because I've recently identified this and I'm exploring so many different angles, spouse being one of them, that how men are completely ignored in all of this. And so I'm exploring that option right now. Primarily, I'm coaching women, but that angle is not far away.
Mental health, even without a loss, is a major problem in the United States. We see it primarily, I guess, in our homelessness, but it just and sometimes we think you go through a phase where nothing works. Then all of a sudden, I remember a really good friend of mine. They had two kids, and they spent probably over $100,000 on drug therapy, drug addiction. And then all of a sudden, boom, they both popped out of it. They both have families. They're both great, the neighbor. I was just like, for that period of time, they were not normal. And then all of a sudden, they're normal. That doesn't happen all the time. And sometimes you need help. And there's lots of different kinds of help you can get. What do I do when I need help? I go to YouTube. That's not going to solve my problem for this kind of situation. But there are people out there. So how do you find somebody that specifically deals with your kind of loss? How do they find another Shruti?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think this so I know coaching in general, there are many coaches and coaches have different niches. So for me, primarily I'm creating content on social media. I'm there on social media. There is also a link that you see where you can book some time with me. I think there are coaches out there, they have different niches that they specialize into. I found my journey. I started off a couple of years back as a broad life coach, and then I kind of niched it to transformation coach, which I still continue to call myself as transformation coach, supporting women with various like stresses and work-life balance and major changes in life. And now I'm going further, niching myself into pregnancy loss, being a pregnancy loss practitioner. I'm actually getting specialized training in that because I felt this is my thing. This is my journey, my lived experience that's going to make it really meaningful for me. And it just gives me a fulfilled life feeling and life with purpose. And
Okay. Okay, but the term transformation coach could be business, it could be life, it could be a number of different things, and you're specializing in pregnancy loss.
that's right.
Have you given thought to maybe using pregnancy loss transformation coach as a more definitive niche for your business?
Yes, yes, this is going to change. Definitely. There are on social media platforms, but I have listed myself as a pregnancy loss coach. So,
Okay, good. Okay,
yes, that is going to change.
that because just transformation coach and pregnancy loss coach are two different worlds.
Yes,
Because I think when I hear or see the word transformation coach, I immediately go to business because that's kind of where most of the people are. And as you say, there's a lot of different ones out there. And you started as a life coach and went in there. Okay, so you started as a life coach, a transformation coach, to a pregnancy loss coach. And what are the tools that you use in order to help somebody?
so I have developed this framework, which is again going to refine further. But for now, this is the framework that I call it the 3 A's framework. It's acknowledge, allow, align.
Okay.
And I explain it is acknowledging is the piece where we were talking about, like when you talked about sitting out that signal, the traffic light where tears would appear out of nowhere. And the example that I shared, right? I'm sitting and working on a worksheet and I'm just tears rolling down and I'm feeling uneasy. That's the acknowledgement where you kind of acknowledge something is off, something is not feeling normal. Allow is the second phase where you actually let yourself feel like your body is telling you to feel something. When you somebody cracks a joke, we immediately start laughing. So that's the body telling us you need to laugh. That's a joke. And I think it's when we feel vulnerable is where we try to avoid it completely. I've done that for more than 11 years. So I know. And I think that is the phase where you allow yourself, your body is telling you to do something, being vulnerable or being, there could be phases where you're in rage or anger or frustration, but you allow yourself to feel through those because it's very important and release those. That's an important phase. And then the align piece is where you do something, you take one small actionable step to honor. In my case, it's honoring the babies. It's taking one step to just do something meaningful. Like as we are talking now, there are emotions that are running through my body, and after this, when I feel low, I'm going to allow myself to feel whatever I'm feeling, and then it's as simple as writing a sentence for my babies could be a step to take to feel better.
Okay, I've had some guests on where they talk about PTSD, and there's some things that work because of the emotional trauma that's associated with some of the people there. And they've used EFT. I use EFT quite a bit myself. Are you familiar with that, emotional freedom techniques?
Not this one. I've personally used for myself for a different reason EMDR because
Okay, that was my next question.
okay.
Okay, why don't we talk about EMDR for a moment?
Yeah, so EMDR, again, I had no idea about this. This was a couple of years back, and my husband was hospitalized. It was sort of uh, completely unexpected, and um, I was taken from my place to the hospital 1.5 hours in an ambulance. I had to sit through and with the siren on. So his treatment and everything went on for a couple of weeks. But for me, what it caused was every time I heard an ambulance, I would freeze. I froze on a very major highway here, which then I got very upset. Like I'm a threat on the road. I'm in danger on the road. Like if I do that. So I talked to my therapist, and she recommended EMDR. Didn't even know what it stood for. So um, when I was very hesitant again because it sounded like hypnosis. But I said, okay, I'm still going through it. I'm going to give it a try. And as I started doing it, those sessions were intense. The therapist had already told me that though you're going to feel this hangover for the next 1 or 2 days, and it did. But a lot again came up for me during that time, and it was good. It was those 6 sessions that I had with the therapist. It was just thinking like in that one moment she would give me a situation and make me really think through it, and I would just kind of vent out those feelings. And those were very intense because there was one question she mentioned, what did your if your husband died? And I got very upset, like how can you say like this? But those were necessary for me to process, because I internally I was thinking about the worst case scenario. And but it really, I would highly advocate that as well, because it's a great therapy tool to experience if you're suffering from PTSD.
Yeah, EMDR is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, and basically it's a movement of the eyes, both eyes together, that helps the brain reprocess things. So you look at things with a different perception. And you mentioned hypnosis is another one. I know there's a good friend of mine here in the Houston area that he does hypnosis up on stage with soldiers coming back with PTSD, and literally in a 5 minute session, there's a lot that can be done, and it's interesting because it's something you can do yourself in many cases, but you don't even think about it because you don't know. We don't know what we don't know. So, but you're acknowledge,
Uh,
allow, not avoid, or not avoid, and align are the three A's that you use in your practice.
yes, that's right.
Okay. And what kind of success rate do you have?
I have people telling me that it's been really transformational. Just even some of them are not even my clients. It's just me explaining in a presentation, and I get feedback that it's such a simple framework, because I you can come up with 10 step process, and then it gets like, okay, after step 3 I don't want to do anymore. And I'm that kind of a person. If you give me a huge document, I'll zone out. So when I was developing this, I wanted to keep it very simple, and then I thought, why not have it? That's why I had to like really come up with, like, if it's A, then 3 A's. But definitely, I get the feedback that it's a simple framework to follow through. And as part of my coaching program, that's what I do. I will work with you together in every step of the way, so that life happens, that things happen which are not in our control, but how to be kind to yourself when you're going through such an intense process. um, but yeah, I do get a lot of good feedback that it's a simple framework to just follow through and take even smaller steps, if you're not even into coaching yet.
Okay, so pregnancy loss, you may be able to work with a client and get them to acknowledging it. They may never get to the allow stage, but at least you've gotten a part of the way on the journey that maybe a year from now, they'll say, "Hey, Shruti, I'm back." Has that happened?
So I think I lost you just for a second.
Okay, you start with a client, and then all of a sudden they disappear, and then months later they come back and they're ready to continue. Does that happen periodically?
No, that hasn't happened to me actually.
Okay,
Not experienced that yet. Maybe it's
okay.
new in the business, so maybe that will happen in the future.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just saying is that you start opening up, and then life, as you said, life gets in the way,
Uh-huh.
and all of a sudden, you're starting to, okay, you're acknowledging all this stuff, and your mind is going back through things again, and you never know which direction that thing is going to go because life is hitting you from all different sides, and so if you can continue on that acknowledge, allow, align path, I can see where, okay, I'm really focused, three things, boom, I'm done. But sometimes things get interrupted, and I was just kind of curious of if at least you've helped them enough to get them started on the journey, and then they have to take a quick vacation and they come back. And that's kind of what I was going down that road.
Yeah. So what I do is I teach this framework so that you can give, and every client is different, right? Every client will take different times, but having this framework is so important that you can take it and apply it to different phases of your life too. So it's me educating them this framework so they can take it for life. Even after we have worked together, they will have access to this framework. They'll learn this framework so that they can apply it to any other, or they can become educators themselves, because they have these tools in place.
Okay, so if somebody was abused as a child, this is something that would help them later on in life, uh,
Mhm.
because the trauma is there. It doesn't matter whether it's a pregnancy loss or some event that happened, automobile accident, gun shooting. It doesn't matter. The trauma is there. So this method that you have will work for them.
Absolutely. Yep. Yep. And we can always tweak when we're working for pregnancy loss. It means these terms mean something, and what we are going to work within those means something. But there is always an option to tweak them a little bit to customize it for each person. Because I have to continue customizing anyways, even if it's pregnancy loss, because each person's journey is different. Each person's where they are in their lives is different. So it is definitely different for everyone. But learning
Okay.
is important.
I know you're working on a book that's primarily focused on pregnancy loss. This sounds like there's actually a couple other books that are out there too. One primarily focused maybe at PTSD, and maybe another one focused at early childhood abuse that was never resolved and is still hidden in the back. So I see three different books right there for you without even blinking an eye.
Thank you so much. Yeah, currently the book that I'm working on is my journey, because I felt that that's going to be my first book. I haven't even finalized my title yet, but it feels very meaningful to write it. Whatever I've spoken through, it's in very much detail, talking through my entire life journey, and it feels really special to write there. But thank you for those ideas. I had not really thought about it, and yeah, I'm not going to stop at one book for sure. So thank you.
Uh, Shruti, we're getting toward the end of the show. I promised you some time to allow you to selfie. How do people get in touch with you?
So I am on major social media platforms. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. I create content for people uh, almost on a daily basis, and that those are the ones that I'm on. I'm also on LinkedIn to get that's my professional page, and I have my ID, my Blink ID, which is my digital card, where people can just book some time with me. It's a 1 hour free session, complimentary breakthrough call. Just come on the call, no obligation, no sales there. It's just, again, like I said, a place where you can just talk and see where you are. And if you need support and if you feel like going through the next steps, I'm happy to work with you on the programs that I have. So that's what I offer.
Okay, so Shruti, Shruti, first name, Trivedi, Trivedi. Go to social media and you'll be able to be found in several different locations there. Shruti is a pregnancy loss transformation coach. And I'm not going to say I enjoyed it. I learned a lot, but I didn't enjoy it. It's not a topic that people enjoy. But I love learning things. And so, from a love perspective, yes, you taught me several things today. And the acknowledge, the allow, and the align, I think, is a really neat way of going. So, Shruti, thank you for joining me today. And when you get your books written, I would welcome you back to my show called The Corner Bookstore. And if there's anything I can do to help you in between there, please, I'd be more than happy to help.
Thank you so much. And Red, I do have to give you a shout out, because when we initially talked, the first call is where I actually started writing my book. So it's been a while since we talked
Yeah.
and gave me the idea. So thank you so much, because it was on my wish list that I'll do it maybe 10 years from now. book was never a thing. So you really motivated me to do it.
Oh, thank you so very much. Take care, Shruti, and we'll catch you down the road.
Thank you so much.
Retta Laughlin, closing out the show today. And real quickly before the show ends, if you're watching the show today on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel on USA Global TV and Radio or Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck on YouTube. Really appreciate that a lot. My next show starts in 18 minutes. It's called Talking Heads. My topic today is how to stay visible, relevant, and credible. And that's it. That's the end. We'll catch you all very shortly. Bye now.
In a quiet seaside town in Greece, where sunlight warms the stone paths and the sea whispers nearby, a new adventure begins. Lady Ella and her brother Lord Jack have arrived with an important mission: to teach kindness, patience, and the power of listening. In a hidden alley, a group of forgotten cats feel unseen and unheard, lost in silence and growing misunderstandings, until someone finally takes the time to truly listen. Because when we listen from the heart, loneliness softens, kindness grows, and new friendships begin. This is Book 10 of The Amazing Adventures of Lady Ella, the Listening Mentor book series. Find all Dr. Kerbeck's books on Amazon and in fine bookstores worldwide.
How much of your value have you been giving away? Saying yes when the answer should have been no? Lowering your price to secure the opportunity? Giving more while receiving less? Over time, it adds up. Until one moment brings clarity, you've been giving away your value. This is not about working harder. This is not about doing more. It's about boundaries. It's about pricing. It's about respect. From Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck comes a direct and necessary message. Stop over-delivering. Stop underpricing your expertise. Stop negotiating against yourself. Because when you recognize your value, everything changes. Stop giving away your value. Boundaries, pricing, and the business of respect. Available now wherever fine books are sold and on Amazon. A film by USA Global TV and Radio. Executive producer Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Videographer and cinematic production Paul Garcia. Voiceover by Ed Wargas. Stop giving it away. Start owning it.
Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? In a world quick to judge, one book dares to reveal the hidden cost of silence. Discover holy but harmful, the silent sin of judgment, how hidden judgments destroy relationships and damage lives, by Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. The Amazon #1 bestseller that's transforming the way we understand ourselves and the way we see others. Pick up the companion workbook to uncover your own hidden judgments and learn how to break free from them. Available now on Amazon and at fine bookstores worldwide.
Hey you, psst, yes you, watching this right now. Are you creating content, a blog, a podcast, a newsletter, going live on Instagram or TikTok, and still not seeing real visibility or growth? Here's why. Anyone can post, anyone can go live, but not everyone is positioned to be taken seriously. Right now, people are going to YouTube to search for experts, for answers, for credibility. So while you're putting in the work, someone else is being seen as the authority. Not because they know more, because they're positioned better. Now imagine this: your own professionally produced TV show, marketed, distributed, optimized with SEO so people can actually find you. Not just seen, but searchable, discoverable, positioned. You're trained, you're coached, you're guided. No experience necessary, but you do have to be coachable, because this is about stepping into a higher level. This isn't about doing more, it's about doing it right. We've already built the platform, 2 YouTube channels, a global audience, a Silver Creator Award. So the question is, how much longer are you going to rely on temporary visibility when you could be building real authority? If you're ready to be seen differently, go to usaglobaltv.com and apply to host your own show. This is for individuals who are serious about investing in their visibility, their credibility, and their growth. If that's you, we're ready. USA Global TV and Radio, where your voice becomes your platform. Executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Videographer, Paul Garcia. Voiceover, Ed Vargas. All rights reserved. This production is the exclusive property of the USA Global TV and Radio and may not be reproduced, distributed, or used without written permission.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.